Hi, welcome to Hold the Light, a podcast on spiritual growth and personal transformation. I'm Lori Gunning-Grossman. This season, I'm sharing my reflections on the book, The Freedom Transmissions, chapter by chapter. If you're interested in creating more peace, simplicity, and freedom in your life, welcome to this space. Welcome back to part 2 of my latest conversation with Carissa Schumacher. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, be sure to check out that one as well. Okay, so for those of you who may not be familiar with Carissa, a quick intro. Carissa is a renowned forensic psychic medium. She's a spiritual guide and channel, a leader of soulful retreats called Journeys, and the co-creator of the book, The Freedom Transmissions, which is the topic of our focus today, the Freedom Transmissions. And listen, it doesn't matter whether or not you've read the book, you will still get so much from this conversation. So some things we cover are which transmission Carissa thinks offers the most guidance for us right now. And you guys have to hear what she says and reads about this. It's so good. She shares what she believes is the entire essence of the Freedom Transmissions. And she talks about what offerings she feels tend to be overlooked, yet deeply powerful. I am thrilled about this episode. Also, one note before we begin. Carissa and I are hosting an online event together on Thursday, August 21st, where we'll be talking about, you guessed it, the Freedom Transmissions and how it can guide and serve us as a collective and individually at that moment in time. It's going to be a great event. It's going to be enlightening and you won't want to miss it. So sign up to our wait list at courses.holdthelightcollective.com/Carissa. Okay, let's get into it. Here's me and Carissa. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, in the world of the Freedom Transmissions, here are a few questions. So, number one is, I'm so curious for you, which transmission offers the most guidance for us right now with everything going on in the world currently?
Oh my goodness. Where to even begin? Number one, all of I am Yeshua. That transmission, in complete simplicity, it isn't even very long. He speaks about the Christ essence, why he and more of the divine are coming through at this time, why we, to unburden us, because we need to be unburdened. There is too many wants, too little simplicity, and it was starting to create chaos and has been creating chaos with the advent of more technology, more this, more that, more. And yes, progress is wonderful, but we have not been evolving to the space that we're able to integrate all of the progress. So that chapter, he really explains what's happening. And this was back in 2020. And every time that I come back to that specific transmission, I'm like, oh, well, this makes more and more sense with each passing day. There's also a greater description that he gives in the transmission on deliverance. And one of the things that's almost like the synthesis of everything. The chapter on deliverance really is like, it's a whole manifesto. And one of the things that I found very comforting, even though it may sound very morbid, I don't think I could find the exact page, but I'll summarize, is when he talks about, when he basically tells us, stop freaking out about Armageddon and the end of times and, you know, whether I'm going to intervene or like the second coming. And he basically says, this is not the end of times. Calm down. You're going through an upgrade, a calibration. You're going through a shift. And then he just, he adds in, I have to find this.
Okay.
It's too delicious. And I remember when I heard this back the first time and I was like, so the chapter is salvation.
Okay.
And this is when he talks about kind of like himself and his presence in our lives, certain things that he experienced within his life, some of the things that we have forgotten as we've been living in more and more sediment, and why it is that it is time for the sediment to go as we're entering an era that is living from your essence. And it's in this chapter that he brings one of those mic drops in the middle of a paragraph when he says, once you remember your need for the divine, for the amazing grace of humanity, for the humble gratitude that comes by way of reconnection to your divine self, world, and ecosystem, you have just delivered and served yourself your own need. You don't have to believe or even understand God, consciousness, or spirit to allow for and receive the presence of God within your being and your life. Faith exists independently from beliefs and knowledge. Wait for it. Faith is a wisdom carried deep within the belly of the whale. Faith is the light, the void. If you did not have the light, the void within you, you would not exist. And then he goes into the part about how our survival as a species was predicated on our ability to change, to adapt, to evolve, to create, to destroy, and to share in community and communion. And he says it should not come as a shock to you that your evolution as a soul and the collective soul is predicated on those self same things, as above, so below. While your soul cannot die as a species can, when it does not honor change, creation, destruction, and sharing, when it separates from the community of light and community of the world, it suffers, withers, and loses its divine force. Such is the lonely life of the dying tree, too stubborn to receive the support from the ecosystem around it, unwilling to be resurrected to the tree of life, unwilling to share its fruit. And this, as he says so many times throughout the book, we've become in our, squishy world when any time that there's something that we can take a pill for it, that any time that we don't want to cook healthy food, that we can go and get a big greasy hamburger or whatever else in our instant type of world, we've been losing our resilience. We've been even families, it's neighbors don't even know one another anymore. And that is not natural. We have a need for sharing and for joy. We have a need for the diversity of essences that surround us, that we connect and engage with every single day. And so he's like, you've been resisting change. And so what we as the divine are going to be doing is we're going to be shaking up some change, but don't panic. This is to unburden you. This is to create greater ease. Then he talks a little bit about accountability. And he says, here it is. This is one of my personal favorites because it's so funny and so true. If you feel the events of these years are a divine storming of temples, you highly underestimate the power of God. Of the many things I am, incompetent is not one of them. If this is the best you think I have in me, a few natural disasters, a simple virus, and bringing the roots of some equalities to a head, I suggest you stop reading now and start again from the beginning of the book. When I storm temples, it is through love. When I storm temples, I dismantle not only universes, but entire reality structures. If I, God, were to truly storm the temple of the world, you would know about it, beloved. Or you wouldn't, because it would all be over so fast.
Oh my God.
He says, I have no need to storm the temple of your world when you are all doing so good, when you are all so good at doing that on your own. You stormed mine, my body, my temple back then, and continue to now through your treatment of your earth and your own bodies. You have all been storming Gaia's temple for centuries. Yet at the slightest pin drop of offense you feel regarding your temple, your appearance, your sexuality, your health, your body, off you go into a fiery fit or cloud of despair. We are not storming your temples, beloved one. The next years for you are all about closing out your tendency to storm your own temple and those of others. Will you be God's dream, a conscious dreamer, or will you be God's nightmare, twisted in the dreaming? Will you be the dim reflection of God on earth, or will you be the illumination of God on earth? Wake up. This time is hardly a storming of the temples. In fact, it's the opposite. This is a time of salvation and deliverance to the temple of the silent bell. This is a time for peace. That is why I am here. To save you from your illusion selves, to deliver you into the peace of your Yeshua self, to share your journey with you. Oh,
It's so good.
I mean, it's so funny. He's so cheeky that way.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
you would know about it if I was
Yeah.
storming the temple.
Yeah.
And then again, the transmission of all transmissions to me. The one that if someone said, if everyone in the world was mandated to read just one transmission in the freedom transmissions, what would it be? And it would absolutely be the chalice and vessel of freedom. Where he talks about freedom, it's a responsibility as a human being, as a divine sovereign being. While divine freedom is available to all through me, the divine essence of peace, human freedom, doesn't often look or feel the same. As an energy field, a spirit being in form, wheat and chaff, human freedom is hard-earned and hard to maintain in a world of others in imbalance who continuously wish to strip you of yours, or your own imbalanced self who does the same to you and to others, even if it knows not what it does. Freedom is not an entitlement, in human or in divine. The moment that you feel entitled to it or take it for granted is the moment it disappears faster than the Cheshire cat. There is no room for complacency, separation, and imbalanced polarity in the heart of freedom. For divine freedom is the essence of transcendence from these veils. It is the state of being realized when the 7 imbalances come to balance. It is the light found when, through presence, you become conscious that you are consciousness itself. That is true divine freedom. The remainder, how he talks about the illusion of freedom, wars, how we shed blood, how we crucify one another in the auspices of freedom, and how to resurrect, how to walk the path and the way that he walked so long ago in your liberation of serving as a vessel for divine freedom on this earth And that to me is the entire essence of the freedom transmissions. To unburden us, to live freely in our essence, freely of the constant liturgy of criticisms and judgments and to-dos. And this entire book is about that liberation. 2, divine freedom and the service of the light holder.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. I love that you picked that transmission. I almost was going to ask you a question that was like, if we were on a desert island and we could only bring one transmission, what would it be? But then I was like, you bring that. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. When I hear these words or read these words, it just fills me with that feeling of wanting to like be in service to the highest good. You know, just like, what is it? Whatever it is, like, it's just like such a wonderful mission to like really be aware in our lives and really bring presence and to help people. Like to put it in a very simple way, like, don't be a jerk, help people, have connection, keep digging into your spiritual life and your connection with whatever a person is connecting with. And I don't know, it's so good. I mean, people can sit with that chapter after this and just really sit with it.
Yes. There was a question that was asked about what offerings in the book I feel can sometimes tend to be overlooked.
Yes.
But deeply powerful.
Yes, yes.
And frankly, you know, he's given so many transmissions after 2 weeks ago, service through joy. The foundation of everything when it comes to service, I think, is encapsulated when he shares the story of his crucifixion and Simon.
Oh my God, I love that story.
That's the gist of it all. He didn't put that into the original Freedom Transmissions. And when he added it, because in the books he expands the existing transmissions, I just wept. Because he tells it, well, the crazy thing was that I checked with a historian on this because I was like, I don't remember it that way from the Bible. And he was like, this is absolutely accurate. This is what the centurions would do. They would go over to someone in the crowd and they would place, because they weren't going to carry the cross and they needed to get the person crucified or the mob would start to become unruly. And so they would take their sword and put it on someone's shoulder. And so the way, you know, he wasn't just like, this is what happened. The fact that he focused the telling of this story on Simon as a metaphor for really all that is being asked of us. Times when Archangel Michael takes his divine sword and says, you know, this person is falling, they're stumbling. There may be, you know, fear, you know, a person that's being bullied or criticized or whatever. But Simon had the integrity to say yes. And through not carrying the crucifix, but through carrying part of sharing some of the load, not taking on the load, but sharing the load in such simplicity, it set Simon free as well. So simple Simon service. When it comes to vehicles, what do I do? How can I be a better person? How can I live as the 9th transmission? Simple. That's the joy of what happens when you sign that covenant. At the end, it's not, oh my God, now I'm going to have, you know, he's going to give me work and he's going to explode my life and now I'm going to be moving to a convent or, you know, simple. Service through your essence is joyful because it's what you were designed to be. Yeshua never asks, even if our minds don't understand, he never asks more of us than in such a way that it creates burdens in our life.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a lot for me. Energetically, to prepare for a journey, it can even be like uncomfortable prior to a journey to be anchoring and holding all of these downloads and this energy, but it's never a burden. And there have been times that I've been making things burden, like worrying about this and, oh my God, are these people going to come and this person has to come? And I realized that's not Yeshua. Yeshua is not imposing this upon me. I'm imposing this on myself. And to keep a clear channel, I need to give that burden over to him. And this again winds back to trust. Like what he's really asking of us when we sign that 9th transmission is just to share. He's just asking like, hey, let's be friends. Let's partner up. Things that you're struggling with, invite me in. Let's communicate. You do a little bit more of the vertical and I'll bring everything in the horizontal to you with greater ease instead of you having to figure it all out on your own. So it's kind of like, let's be buddies, let's be friends, let's be lovers, let's be partners within this life. Because when you have that level of connection and intimacy between self and divine, it becomes there's more abundance within you. You're not depleted. You're not coming from scarcity and fear and veils and separation. And so when you have that love, it becomes so much easier to know when it is time to serve, when it is time to hold space, when it is time to explore, when it's time to make a very big, sweeping change. So you feel held and seen and understood in this covenant. The divine really usually knows our needs more than we do. They hold you through all of it. And that makes it so much easier to not have to go out into the world to have those needs fulfilled. Understand me, person, neighbor, daughter, see me, ba.
Yeah.
When that cup is filled through the vertical, it becomes so much easier to advocate for yourself in needs, to set certain boundaries, to feel empowered, and also to more natural, more harmonious in terms of empowering the essences of others and really holding them accountable to let go of some of their sediment. So the path and the way that he created then, he's kind of saying, all right, you guys got this now. Let's carry it forward together, side by side, holding hands.
Gorgeous. I love it. And that's a story that for some reason, it was like maybe on the 3rd time I read the book where I was like, oh, I don't know why. It didn't hit me the first 2. And then the 3rd time I was like, oh my God.
Right.
What a beautiful story.
Right.
And I love the way you just explained it too, for us to bring it into our own lives. And the trust, as you're talking, I'm thinking about like the trust between ourselves and the divine, like commit a little bit more to the vertical and the divine, and our horizontal will be taken care of. But what I also find interesting is that like it's not always in the way that I think it should be taken care of, but doing this work, I'm finding myself, and hopefully I think other people too, finding that trust of like, it's helping me trust more, I should say. So when I was let go of my job, and then I'd put out my resume for a while, just cricket. And I finally was like, okay, I get it, divine. I'm not supposed to be doing that. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but I've been trusting in the process. Or when Jonathan and I made the decision to sell our house because that was becoming a burden.
Right.
And then it's painful, but I trusted, and the freedom and the liberation that has come from it. And we're in that space right now. That's why I love this work. This is why I love the Freedom Transmissions, shoring up that trust of the unknown and the void and trusting that the divine is really there for us.
Yes.
It might not look the way we think.
Yes. Exactly.
We think it should look. Yeah. It's beautiful. I have another question for you about the sacred seeds, the chapter of the sacred seeds. So I'm going to read my question to you. So we learn that our choices and our actions, what we sow, determine what we'll experience in the future. And we're asked to reflect on whether we're planting seeds of blame and negativity or seeds of light and kindness. And I think that this is important right now as we're kind of moving into this whole new era, thinking about the seeds that we sow. So I was just wondering, like, what guidance do you have for someone who struggles breaking old patterns and helping them shift towards planting seeds of light and kindness? So old patterns, I also think of with the stories that we tell or the things that we belong to that might not necessarily be in our, for our highest good. So how do you help people shift towards planting seeds of light and kindness?
Well, the first, so many different flavors to this delicious question. The first question that one would need to ask themselves is, am I worthy of light and kindness? The type of person that would ask a question like this, we know, is a person that is constantly raising up others around her, practices light and kindness. And so the question first needs to be, am I worthy? Am I worthy of joy and ease? Because it's a choice that you need to make. The divine can't bypass your free will. So you first have to say yes to these energies, which can be a little bit scary, especially because all the conditioning is you've got to suffer. You're a sinner. There's always something wrong with you. And to take agency for the choice of maybe there isn't. And I'm worthy of this. Because if that worthiness, I've done this thing and I did this in the past and this was done to me. And in the past, I planted so many seeds of love and kindness and all I got in return was judgment and neglect and abandonment and animosity. That's when the ego goes and has a little pity party. I planted so many seeds of light and all I get is shit and shadow. And so now poor me and I'm going to shut it down and live in separation and blah, 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 blah. And that is a tendency that the mind does tend to have to keep itself safe, but small and resentful and, sedimenty, I'll put it that way. But, and if there is the question about like worth, I don't feel worthy because I've done these things, I've missed the mark 80,000 times on this addiction or this habit or this behavior, I would really recommend that you go back to the braids of the Trinity and look at the super fun way that Yeshua encourages us. Like, you are worthy. If you are deciding I am not worthy, you're making that choice. The divine is not. And so, but if you're struggling with it or like you have actually done something real, repentance is just letting go of the burden. It's all Yeshua asks for is just the awareness of something. Just becoming aware that you missed the mark. That's where it begins. I always tell people, like, forget about changing the behavior unless you're in like a very critical situation. Focus on the awareness. Infuse compassion, patience, love, and naturally that will strengthen those seeds stronger every day, watering the seed of worthiness and love with compassion and patience. The seed grows and grows and grows. And then there's just a moment where it's like the addiction or the behavior just falls away. You've alchemized it. You've chosen, if you have something that you're struggling with and you address it through struggle, and the awareness is struggle. I mean, this is Hopi Prophecy 101. They said, remove the word struggle from your attitude and vocabulary. This is a time that is coming together. Know your water, know your neighbors, know the people that your essence vibes with, that holds you through the letting go of sediment. Because often sediment, like, it doesn't feel good, but sometimes we can be in complete denial and be in sediment and think that this is like what we want, and it's like not. So that moment, we like when that awareness comes of that sediment, we sometimes play a little bit of tug of war with our sediment.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, but this is part of my story and this identity, or, but Yeshua, it's not fair. This person did this to me and it wasn't fair. And I don't completely trust that divine justice is going to be served to all in the end. And we're kind of playing this war of, okay, I'm letting it go, but this wasn't quite fair. I didn't get mine, or this happened to me. And you really just got let go of the struggle. You're choosing it. Like, don't choose it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when it comes to this, we have to remember, I just have to mention that, as an intuitive, I do pick up on the vibration. So the specific person that asked this question was a person, and this is something that I think that we can all relate to. The person that asked this question has a very original essence, very joyful, very energetically pure as a child, very pure heart. There are children that are a little bit more fiery or bouncy, and all children are very pure, but this asker was someone who had a very original essence that didn't fit into the constructs of the family and the environment. And so this, even as a child, an adolescent, as she was trying to plant seeds of light or joy or whatever, she was punished for that and rewarded for participating in the behaviors or the constructs that was the sediment. But so now, as we're entering this new era in these past couple of years, she's going to be experiencing something very different, as will all of you that got a lot of pushback towards your essence, and that created a lot of the sediment in the first place. And so now there is a shift for her and many of us, whereas in the past we were almost judged or abandoned or rejected for being pure and just unleashing our essence. Now is a time that you will be more rewarded. There's more of a movement of you reap what you sow when it comes to the energy that you put out. This last era was you reap what you sow in terms of how much you work and how much you exert your dominance and control. And in the Freedom Transmissions, Yeshua says, this is a time that you will be more rewarded for the energy and the consciousness that you're putting out. It's part of the alchemy pathway and the movement to this era of essence. So when it comes to our essence, before thinking about, I'm planting of seeds and the external and where to do it and how to do it, you first have to learn how to plant the seeds of kindness and forgiveness and light and humility. But all of those seeds already exist within you, within your essence, at least for those that are here today.
Yeah.
And so what you're doing is you're just kind of watering the garden each day and allowing those seeds to grow and grow and grow until there's an abundant harvest. And then all of a sudden you just naturally attract people that want to eat all of that yummy fruit, or you just know exactly where to give it out freely to those that are in need.
Beautiful.
And another, I find often that there is a really sacred seed that we tend to overlook, and it's mercy. Why I love mercy so much, especially for people that have had massive betrayals, like massive traumas within their life. It can take a lot of pass-throughs to really be able to operate from the surrender and the forgiveness and the divine justice. And mercy is the perfect seed for such experiences, because mercy is the ability to infuse kindness and compassion towards someone for their light or their sediment, because we all know we've been there, yet also upholding a boundary whereby you do not have the power to affect me emotionally, mentally, in any way. You don't have access to my garden. I offered you my sacred seeds. You abused and pillaged the garden and those sacred seeds. And so for you, go to another fruit stand. I'm not available. My zucchini is not available today, for a year, for a month, or possibly even ever within this life. Yes.
I love it. Oh, it's so good. You're just laying it down, Carissa. I love it so much. You have such a beautiful way of expressing yourself and also explaining just like words of wisdom and ways for us to comprehend either things from the freedom transmissions or beyond. And, I think it's one of the reasons why people are so drawn to you and appreciate you. So here's what I'm thinking. I feel like I'm going to ask 2 more questions.
Perfect.
What do you think?
We got it. We can do it.
You know, what's interesting is like, I know the last question I want to ask you, and I was going to ask a different one, but this one is just popping up to me. And I want to ask you, it is more on the Carissa personal level. Are you feeling called to serve in new ways right now?
Yes, absolutely. Much thanks to you, beloved.
Okay.
So as you know, in the final year of up until the end of the final year of the old era in 2024, I was very joyful with my sessions, then added group sessions and journeys, and the remainder of the time to be in my little elfin introverted forest playing with the birds and the mud. And then, right in the void, right as we started moving up to that late October Aquarius final shift, you invited me to do the election call. And it was just one of those things where my mind was like, but it was an absolute yes, that tether pull to be present. And it was so joyful, and what it catalyzed for so many people in the responses, the ability to digest and integrate and metabolize all the changes that were going on. It was so joyful.
It was.
That I realized that this is the era of community. And so all of a sudden, the resyncs, I'm offering these monthly events that have been one of the most joyful things for me, for everyone. And it gives people that kind of may be on the fence about Yeshua or even my mediumship or whatever, it gives them a space to be able to come and participate and explore and evolve and illuminate. And it's been so magic. They've just been growing, and more people are finding their way to them. And it's nothing that I planned. But even when we planned the Freedom Transmissions book study last week, that was planned months prior. And I was like, what is this going to be? Is it maybe similar to a resync? And it felt it was like its own thing, like different than a
different.
resync or a group session.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, I don't want to do private. So I'm still going to do private sessions because I derive a lot of joy. But now I'm like, let's do another one. Let's do all of these like small community, big community offerings. Like normally after a journey, I take space to integrate and then I'm right back to personal sessions. And after this last journey of service through joy, Yeshua had me schedule the study group, this podcast with you, Molly's podcast. This is wild for me. It is such and I don't give a shit. And it feels great. And then in June, he's like kind of throwing me into this sabbatical where I'm focusing on the next book, but we're doing another Freedom Transmission study group on August 21st. Just announced, everyone. And then the resyncs are happening. And so it's just, I don't know. There is something in this era shift, but I'm just showing up.
Yes.
And saying yes to it all.
I love it. I was telling you earlier, I've witnessed you on journeys. I've witnessed you on the resyncs, which everyone go to sign up for a resync. I'll send that information. I'll have the information here, but they're the last Friday of every month. And you gotta tune in. And then I've witnessed you in the group that we did together. And I'm like, yes, it's a different offering. And I love seeing you out there like that. Because we were talking earlier, I was saying there's a shape-shifting thing going on where you are just able to tune in to a moment, to what's in the collective, to an individual. And I'm excited to see you doing this. And people love it. They're like, oh my God, oh my God, you have Carissa on your podcast? People get so excited to hear from you. So I love how you're feeling called to serve in maybe some different ways going on here.
Yes.
It's good.
Yes.
We're going to end it with this last one, and we're going to bring it back to the Freedom Transmissions. It is the 9th transmission. Basically, this is my question. How do you envision someone stepping into their life as the 9th strand?
Yes. And I touched on this earlier. It's willingness. That is all that is being asked of you before pouncing on someone in the internet, before making an impulsive choice or decision. It's taking a pause and not just asking, what would Yeshua do? But what would my Yeshua self do? What am I? Is this something that I wish to participate in? The signing, the life as the 9th transmission is accepting the beautiful responsibility of co-creating your life with the divine. And it's not about being perfect. Yeshua said before, divine perfection has to have flaws. Flaws, it's those mistakes, that accidental genetic mutation in like the frog that gets it to turn into like all of these species.
Yeah, yes.
That's how we learn. That is how we evolve. So it's not about being perfect. It's just about sharing. That is how he defines unity. And unity is the spirit of sharing. And so it's just sharing and saying, oh, And I have so many times where I'm like, oh my gosh, like, Yeshua, like I totally missed the mark on this. And like I'm taking accountability, and he usually gives me like a comforting hug. And then usually like he goes and cleans up the mess, but sometimes he makes me clean. But it's just fun. And so acceptance and willingness, just trusting that what is divine, instead of fighting it or second guessing or questioning your essence and all the workings and all the worries and all of the fears. It is just, in a sense, it's accepting your destiny and what it is that you are as a vessel for spirit and consciousness and light and power and integrity and peace. And so he says, beloved one, as I have shared, the ninth and final freedom transmission is you, your Yeshua self, God's self, true self. The ninth transmission and strand to complete the full braid of the divine Trinity is entrusted to you. It is now up to you to honor and fulfill the realization of the divine on earth through the heart of the beloved that you are for all the days of your life. You are the ninth strand. May your life be a transmission of love, truth, and peace, faith, forgiveness, and freedom. May you live your soul prayer. May you move deeper into the void, the light, the sacred heart of God with each day more. May you move mountains. May you illuminate the stars. May you set down crosses. May you walk in the garden of Gaia and God. May you be merciful and know mercy. May you walk gently hand in hand with the light. And he asks us to sign, I, right self, then right Yeshua, commit to upholding my service as a holder of the light, a just is of the peace, and the ark of the new covenant of divine freedom. Sancti Pace. Amen. Thank you for your service as a holder of the light. Honor as it is in divine freedom. Let there be light. Amen. Yeshua. And so it is. May peace be with and within you always. Deepest blessings. Namaste.
Namaste. What is it that you're feeling when you read that? That brings up the emotions for you.
My profound gratitude. The power of how deeply he loves all of us with such tenderness and patience and trust. I realized that my life as the ninth strand really began during those 9 days that I channeled the freedom transmissions. And I haven't read those words, but I haven't read this or saw where I signed the covenant. This is the first time that I've opened to that page. And so what it's also bringing up is just all the bumps, all the fears, just this journey. And it's bringing up the gratitude for the lightest experiences as well as some of the most scary and fearful. And it's just, this is the evolution that we all have always shared with the divine and with one another, but for it to be, with all this energy, just to be moving and illuminating before our eyes within this community and your service and my service and Molly's service and Luke's service. It is just extraordinary. I feel, I look at where I was when I signed that page long before book or anything. And then I look at where I am now. And like, I love her. But I still see so much of like the child within her. And now as I sit more balanced within child as well as the elder, it brought that moment back. But I, of course, always wish to say that this is just how I experience or perceive what is offered. So I'm happy to answer some of these questions based on my experience. But what life as the 9th transmission means to you, that is for you to explore and cultivate within yourself and in this covenant and co-creation. And Yeshua's got you every step of the way, as do I. So thank you so much, Lori, for these incredible sharings and conversations, the podcast, all that you have offered with such humility and integrity over this past season of Hold the Light, with the focus on the freedom transmissions. It has changed countless lives. It is such an extraordinary service. And I believe on behalf of us all, I just wish to say thank you. And I love you. And there is no way that this is the end. We're gonna keep this wagon moving down the trail.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
We don't know where we're gonna end up, but
I agree. And thank you so much, Carissa. And thank you for making space, first of all, to come on this podcast during this whole book series. It has been an absolute joy for me to do this and to do it with you and have you come on and share your wisdom. And I have had a freaking ball with this. And sometimes it's been a lot of work. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, I gotta get into this. Like and it has up-leveled something within myself that I am extremely grateful for. So thank you for bringing forth the Freedom Transmissions from Yeshua. We cannot wait. Well, we can, because we will patiently, for the next books to come out. Mm-hmm. So, of course, you will let us know. We'll just keep holding the light for each other, my sister.
Yes. And of course, huge gratitude for the listeners and this community. Your courage and integrity and faith and the power of your essence has been one of the very central reasons that Lori and I have experienced so much joy. Feeling your essences with us throughout each and every word, each and every transmission deep dive. And so I just wanted to say hi and thank you. And I will see you all very soon.
We will see you soon.
Huge love. Everyone huge take love. Care. Namaste.
Namaste. Well, thank you so much for listening To learn more about Carissa, including how you can join her monthly online resyncs, her journeys, and how to work with her, you can find her at thespirittransmissions.com. This officially wraps up this season on Hold the Light, where I have focused on the words and wisdom of the book, The Freedom Transmissions. So while this may be the end of a particular journey, as Carissa says, we're going to keep this wagon moving. Be sure to sign up to the waitlist for my event with Carissa on August 21st at courses.holdthelightcollective.com/Carissa, and keep coming back here to hold the light. As always, thanks for listening. Keep holding the light. To connect and learn more, be sure to sign up to my mailing list at holdthelightcollective.com. You can also find me on Instagram at lori.gunning.grossman. Hold the Light is produced by me, Lori Gunning Grossman. Jonathan Grossman is our producer, editor, and all-around sound guru. Theme music by Jonathan Grossman.